This is Eric.
I'm Big.
This is John.
And this is Jay. We're Phunksion with a PH. You're listening to RageRockRadio.com.
The Metal Classroom. RageRockRadio.com.
American Metal Radio.
The heaviest place on the internet.
Welcome to the Metal Classroom, everybody. My name is Matt Connerton, and I am here with the members of the band Phunksion. How are you guys?
Very good.
Awesome.
How you doing?
Good, good. Let's get this out of the way. How do you spell Phunksion? Because you guys spell it a little different.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Somebody looking for you on MySpace would have no clue.
They'd have
how
to type
find
in
you.
PH first.
Yeah.
PHUNKSION.
All right. Just want to make sure everyone knows how to find you. Because if they just Google Phunksion, they're not going to.
They might find
with an F.
another band called Phunksion, just different spelling.
Exactly.
A friend of mine Googled it, and they got pictures from the DVD camping trip we did.
Oh.
Which was
different
pretty
things.
cool.
All right. Well, let's go down the line. We'll start on this end, Jay. If each of you could just tell me who you are and what you do in the band.
I'm Jay. I'm the singer.
I'm John. I'm the drummer.
I'm Jeff. I'm the bass player.
Eric, guitar.
Wow.
I'm hammering a cunt.
You're hammering a cunt, or you're hammering you are a cunt?
Yeah, we just added the cunt as an instrument.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I wondered why he was on stage with you guys the other night at Millie's. I didn't recognize what he was doing. I realize now he was being the cunt. Yeah.
Hey, he's dressed up as a big one.
Right. That's awesome. Every band needs that.
It's like a mascot.
Yeah.
It's kind of a driving force behind a lot of bands is cunt.
Absolutely.
It's the
You can't have
secret
too much.
ingredient.
So it makes all the guys want to be a rock star, right?
Exactly.
Hello.
Exactly. Well said. Well, let me ask you this, because we were talking a little bit before the show, and I said something that John commented on it, but I meant it sincerely. There's really nobody else around here that sounds like you guys.
Wow.
You definitely have a unique sound. Some of it's kind of heavy, so here you are in the Metal Classroom. Some of it's not so heavy, but it's definitely unique and different. I want to know, how do you guys, and I know musicians hate this question, but I really want to know, how do you describe Phunksion to someone who's never heard you?
I'd say we mess around with genres. We never try to stick to one.
Yeah.
Just kind of what we feel like at the time. We use all the music that we've been influenced by is like a wide range, from blues to like really hardcore heavy metal, and some people play around with with genres. Like there's like, say, a transvestite plays around with gender, plays around with their gender. They dress up as a woman.
Right.
Well, we go post.
No idea where he's going with this.
Yeah.
This is scary.
Picture us as post-op. Like, we go all the way with, like, we never try to.
What are you really trying to tell us here, Jay? There might be an earlier function I was not aware of.
Yeah.
I thought I knew you guys pretty well, but
When you're going in for surgery.
No, I mean we all grew up.
We usually
listening to
play
similar music.
what feels good. If it happens to be a heavy song, then so be it.
Right.
If it comes out light and we're all on it and we all agree, it's
We just try to write a good song.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't really care.
It usually starts with a guitar part, a
To fit
bass
in
part, or someone introduces something, or they'll be playing something, and then Jeff, or usually it stems around Jeff and Eric. To be honest now. One of them will be playing a rhythm or something, and someone, the other person will be, hey, I like that, and add
Right.
something to it, and then, it's easy for me while I'm sitting on the drums to
and over and over, and
come up
then
with something.
Jay's like, sing. I'm just writing lyrics like a
He'll start
it.
writing lyrics. Next thing you know, we write songs fast. They've always come out of us fast. I don't know why, but
yeah.
as far as how we would describe it,
Shit.
we usually
Yes.
compare it to bands that are similar to, I don't want to say similar, but bit and pieces of us. It's hard to describe. It's a tough question to answer.
Yeah.
That's a very difficult question.
Yeah.
Before we've
It's
written,
definitely its own entity.
before we wrote maybe the last 3 or 4 songs, I used to tell people that, like, if you took Red Hot Chili Peppers and Pantera and put them in a bag and shook them up,
Right.
you get something like what we were.
That's a pretty good.
And now I guess, like, with the new songs we've written, you probably have to throw Tool in that bag too.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
In your tool bag.
Throw your tool in the bag.
Do you find that is that, as far as going out and playing shows and finding bands to play shows with, finding shows to jump on, do you think it helps you, or do you think it maybe confuses people as far as being as unique as you are? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, or does it depend?
It's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, in some ways it's good because we're like we're unique to what might be every other band that night. Other ways, especially if we're playing like a really heavy show, like most like really hardcore metal fans want to hear all heavy stuff,
right?
And they don't really want to hear our more mellow. So it's
start
not.
whipping out my
We
other
might,
brother.
we might have a couple songs where people go and like have a cigarette break or something like that.
Sure.
But then there's other nights where we're too heavy for a place.
Sure.
And we're playing with other bands that are just either like cover bands or like more mellow like classic rock type stuff. And then we're like the gorilla in the back of the room. So it's.
But we've
sometimes-
we've turned people around too. Like we'll be at a metal show, and I mean, at first people are like, "Huh," because they're expecting something heavy, like that's been playing all night, and then eventually, we've had people really like us, and even come up after and be, say
Usually,
that
I've
they
seen
like
it happen,
heavier
yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
but you guys.
So I'd say
like-
generally we get taken pretty good.
yeah, it's extremely unusual to have a bad response.
Right.
And I think sometimes we've gotten shows just maybe because we get along really well with certain bands, and we don't necessarily
Match
play
up
this,
with them,
match up like musically, but
Right.
we just end up like we're friends with them, so we like playing with them and we like hanging out with them, and so we end up doing shows that we wouldn't necessarily like be the best band for.
Sure.
But we still have a good time, and everyone usually has a good time
Yeah,
at the end of the night.
Get
Yeah.
along good with the other bands.
That's what counts. Yeah. Well, let's play a tune so we can kind of give everyone an idea of what you guys sound like, because people are probably hearing this who haven't heard you, who are really curious now. I wonder what these guys are like. What do you want to play?
Play Why I'm Here.
Why I'm Here from Phunksion. All right, here it is.
RageRockRadio.com.
American Metal Radio.
The heaviest place on the internet.
We've got to take our stand. They're gonna hear my voice.
Trying to find that special instrument with great service? Indie Music Store in Milford, New Hampshire has what you need. 603-673-2733. New and used instruments, sheet music and books, student rentals, trade-in and consignment. Owned and operated by Jeff Harrington, a custom drum maker who specializes in drum sales, repairs, and restoration. Indie Music Store, located at 307 Elm Street in Milford, New Hampshire. 603-673-2733. Or visit them on the web at indiemusicstore.biz. Indie Music Store, independent store for independent musicians.
Looking to amp up an event or party? Call Loudkeeper Sound.
In New Hampshire,
603-289-1409.
Indoor-outdoor concerts, festivals, public address speaking, conference meetings, outings and
Parties and more.
603-289-1409
or on MySpace at myspace.com/loudkeeperaudio.
top quality sound reinforcement for all your event needs. Drumlin Down Studios.
Located in the foothills of New Hampshire Seacoast, Drumlin Down Studios is a state-of-the-art recording studio for all your recording needs at prices you can afford. Call 603-580-5339 or visit Drumlin Down on the web at drumlindown.com. No project is too large or too small. Call 603-580-5339 for information.
Drumlin Down Studios.
All right, so that was Why I'm Here from Phunksion before the break. Great tune, guys.
Thank you very much.
And it sounded great the other night. Actually, a couple weeks ago at Millie's Tavern in Manchester, New Hampshire, I was there with my band First Shove, and we shared the stage with you guys.
Yes, absolutely. That was a great show. Man.
Good times.
Absolutely, absolutely. Quite memorable.
Yes.
I definitely.
Let me just add that First Shove rocks.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
First
you.
Shove, great.
Yes.
Thank you. And you know, I can definitely see what you mean about how, you know, sometimes if there's maybe fans there that are there to see metal bands, but you guys bring a lot of your own fans, but you definitely also win over the people who maybe aren't there for you, but are there for, you know, something heavier. But you guys appeal to a wide range of people, definitely.
I think it's...
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah.
You know, we got all kinds of age groups, you know. Sometimes when we do all ages shows, we get a lot of the young kids, but it's more of the older adults.
Sure.
You know?
We got a little of something for everybody.
Yeah,
That's the bottom line. It's something that can appeal to almost anybody. And I mean, we've had even people come up and say, you know, I don't really care for your your style of music or your genre or whatever you want to call it, but they say they really enjoyed what we do, how we played it, and
right.
So there's always something, you know, that people appreciate out of it, and that's just a huge honor
appreciate
to
that
us.
we
you know?
enjoy playing.
I mean, that's like a huge compliment.
We
to us
feel
when
our
someone says
music
something like that.
while we play it.
I think that's probably one of our biggest draws, like why people do, like the people that do come and see us like every show, is that we do it with like 100% emotion. Like we're out there, you know, we basically, you know, we play, we everything we do is basically on feel. Like none of us really have any like technical knowledge of exactly like what it is. You know, I don't know what note I'm singing, or
we're, as far as theory goes, we're all illiterate.
I can relate.
None of us.
Yeah.
I couldn't show you what a B flat is.
Yeah.
I've never read music in my life.
Yeah.
Our music's definitely
Always listen to it.
influenced by our feel. If we're not feeling it, then you can tell by our performance.
And that's what we've actually had a hard time trying to record in studios. Also, like if we have to separate from each other and we're not all playing at the same time, it's so awkward for any of us to play without the other guys. You know, even if it is through headphones, like we really feed off each other, not necessarily our own emotions, but we feed off each other's emotions too. Like
that can be a real challenge.
Trying to play to a click track or something.
It's tough. It's tough
It's
because
hard.
we're you know, I want to say that because we're really tight, but we're also got that little bit of slop in us, you know. And
our music's always kind of like a living, breathing thing.
Yeah.
You know, we can't just like.
It's alive,
press
emotional.
play and let it go. You know, like different things are going to happen sometimes when we play a certain song that we didn't mean to do, but it ends up like becoming like an integral part of the song because it just felt good.
Yeah.
Does a lot of your writing happen with all four of you in the room, just jamming and then coming up with things, or someone comes in?
That's the only time it happens.
Really?
Yeah. And the way I'll write lyrics is like they'll usually have like, you know, a jam that I'll feel something. You know, I feel like usually I'll just get the melody in my head first, and when I start writing, I'll write a verse and then a chorus, and then I'll kind of let them keep jamming and like let the song go where it's gonna go, and then I'll go home and like the rest of it. After I write the first, like, you know, get the first verse and chorus down, the rest of it just kind of flows through my hand. Like I don't even I'll write a whole song and then be like, okay, now I got to read it to see what I wrote. Like I don't even really necessarily. It's almost like kind of like there's something they're doing it for me.
I'd say Jeff's pretty much the only one that takes his bass home and comes into practice with new parts.
Really?
I practice all the time, you know. And
Yeah.
especially new stuff, you know.
Sure.
We're now that we're back together again, you know, we took a couple of years off, so now I'm anxious to write again, you know. So I take my bass home all the time, come up with a riff, I bring it in, me and John start jamming on it, and Eric's in on it, and then before you know it, we got a song, you know. It's like great.
Right, and when Jay adds lyrics and starts singing to it, it gives us structure.
Mm-hmm.
It turns it into what you know to be a song. And other than that, I mean, a lot of the songs just came from jams.
Really?
Honestly, yeah. You know, we just kind of jam out, and like I said, it's all
In between practice, you know, when
Sure.
we're practicing our set, we sit there and just jam out while we're smoking a butt or drinking a beer, and then it's like, wow, let's come back to that after we go through the set, you know.
Yeah, some of the songs sat on shelves forever. You know,
Still,
it's just something
we've
that
got-
Jeff or Eric were playing, just messing around, and then it's like, oh, yeah, we should do something with that. And then,
Yeah, so actually, if we continue to keep writing songs the way that we do, we should have a pretty much endless supply of music because we
could
you
write.
know, we come up with like
Yeah.
a few different jams, you know, that we've never played before. That, you know,
In
we
one
just off the top
practice.
off the top of our heads at practice, and most of it, I think that. You know, I'll be thinking, well, hey, that's a good song right there. You know, we got to remember that.
Yeah, we never do.
Most of the time, we don't remember it, but you know, we'll come up with something similar maybe in a couple weeks down the road.
I know. I think if we had a recorder going all the time during practice, we would have so much material to work with, and it just comes and goes. We get it so often. We could write songs. We could write 100 songs if we wanted to. You know, we just from messing around.
And
It's
we are
musical. You know,
we are also like really picky about what will actually like let progress into
Sure.
a
Sure.
song. So
What
I mean,
makes it-
that's
yeah,
why
'cause I got
that's why
a
we don't
couple
have
of
hundreds of
songs.
songs.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear another one now. What do you guys want to play?
This one is
Moment of silence.
yeah. Well, let's do
Moment
one
of
of
silence.
silence.
Moment of Silence from Phunksion. Here it is on RageRockRadio.com.
RageRockRadio.com,
American Metal Radio.
the heaviest place on the internet. It's what you say, it's what
We're here with Phunksion on the Metal Classroom, and we just heard Moment of Silence. And how many tunes do you guys have total? I mean, as far as originals?
How many?
I say about 19 so
Yeah.
far.
Really, yeah?
I think we've written maybe like 23, 24, but we've gotten rid of some that we don't really even work on anymore.
I've just outgrown them.
Really?
Basically. So, there's been a few songs that we've outgrown.
And half songs that we've written just never went back to.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of shit.
Before we played that last tune, you guys kind of made reference to the fact that you had taken, what was it, about 2 years off from the band?
Yep.
What is it that brought you back together? Because that's unusual. I mean, you actually moved out of the state, right, John?
That's right. Yeah,
So-
I moved to Maine for a couple of years.
What is it that brought you guys back together and realized that you belong in a band together?
A phone call.
Yeah?
My truck, I drove.
We
and
never.
stuff.
It wasn't a complete split.
Yeah, because the three of us,
Yeah.
Eric, Jeff, and myself, still tried to keep it going. I mean, we tried out quite a few drummers, and it was actually surprising because I mean, we tried out people that we thought were some of the better percussionists around here, and they just it just
Couldn't
wasn't
get
the
it.
same. Like
Yeah.
we.
Couldn't get it.
They
You know?
didn't have the feel for us.
So that goes to like
Yeah.
John saying, like since he's been back, we have a lot more respect for each other. We definitely gained a lot more respect for what John does because there's no one else that
Absolutely.
can do it the way he does in this band.
Yeah.
No matter like who like how good somebody is, John's our drummer. Like he's
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no one that
Right.
can play with our stuff the way he does.
We love him.
Yeah.
Oh.
I had broken up with my girlfriend
shucks.
back in the spring, and I was lonely. I had nothing to do, so I called him up, said, "Hey, what are you
That
doing?
sounds
Let me go up to."
Yeah.
I was
We'll never say
bored.
that
I had
on
nothing to do. Yeah, that sounds horrible.
And
me,
Jeff's
it
the
was-
sap. in
So
case you
anyway,
didn't know.
I called John up to see what he was doing. I was like, "Hey, why don't I come up there to hang out with you guys, see how Maine is?" And he's like, it took him 2 weeks to respond back to me. And he's like, "Don't bother. I broke up with my girlfriend too." I'm like, "Well, what the fuck you doing?" He's like,
Right.
"I'm living with my girlfriend." I was like, "Move back."
Yeah,
Move back, man. We all miss you. Everybody's been asking what's going on,
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And then we got back later on in early summer.
Yeah. Cool.
In June, I think.
Yeah.
How long have you guys been together total? Like, when did Phunksion actually start?
It's about 2002,
Yeah,
So
I think in
it's-
2002 is when
pushing 6
me
years.
and Jeff were in another band, and we,
05.
the other band split up, and basically we were.
That was Notion, right?
That was Notion.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, and with someone else's songs that that someone else wrote.
Yeah.
And we had
just
jammed and
fulfilling
always jammed over the years since 90s. I don't know exactly when, but we eventually had jams that we kept doing. We kept repeating them, and we knew they were good and fun, and we ended up on our own. So we decided to start writing our own stuff.
Yeah.
And then after that we brought in Jay, and like I said, he writes lyrics to it, gives it structure.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, we had 9 songs in less than a month.
Yeah.
And we quickly realized that we needed a guitar player, and we got Eric. We've known
They actually
forever.
had a bongo player.
I was going to avoid that, but yeah, we had another percussionist. But with my style of playing, I'm filling up a lot of space with ghost notes and hi hat work, and it's getting drowned out by the djembe. So
Yeah.
it was time to shit or get off the pot basically with the music, and we wanted to make it more serious. So
Well, Jay threatened to quit.
yeah.
right. Yeah.
We were doing good. We had 9 months and no guitar.
Yeah,
So then Eric swooped in
Well, I mean,
and
there
saved
was-
the band.
There was,
Yeah.
there was a small group of people that, like the funkier stuff we were doing, and they really liked the djembe and would have liked to probably have seen us become like a strictly funk band. But I was for one was kind of sick of doing it the way we were doing it, and they wanted to keep doing it that way. And so
Yeah.
I had to say, well, if you guys want me to sing, then we're gonna have to get a guitarist. 'cause
Right.
I'm gonna go join a
We
band. I'm
actually
gonna
had
go
a
join a
really-
band with
really-
a guitarist.
Really tough time when I first joined.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't think my guitar fit to his
Yeah.
bass
Oh, okay.
lines.
Because we played so long without a guitar.
Sure,
player.
sure, that's
A
what
lot
people
of-
were used to.
Jeff definitely didn't think my guitar parts went to his bass lines.
Really?
It
Yeah.
took him a while to come around to it.
I was being stubborn about it.
Yeah.
We had something completely original.
Yeah, I was stealing his thunder, basically.
Well, where can we find you guys online? You have a MySpace.
we got
obviously.
a MySpace. It's www.myspace.com/functionnh.
And how do we spell Phunksion again?
PHUNKSION. Phunksion.
And you're going to be recording soon, correct? You're gonna have
Yes,
CD
we
out
are.
soon?
We're actually right now we're looking around at the not even necessarily the best deal, but I mean the most for our money that we can get for out of a recording studio that'll give us. We actually could use a little help on like the production wise.
Right.
We write songs like we said just on feel, never really kind of looking at it, are we trying to write a hit or something that's going to be like played on the radio. So I mean we're
open to some
Right.
kind of production.
Sure.
So we're kinda
just to polish the
looking at
odds
somebody
and
like
ends.
not just someone to record us, but to help us produce the album.
Right. Cool. And now, do you have anything else coming up as far as shows in the meantime, or are you focused on recording? Or
Well, the 13th was kind of the one we were really promoting.
Yeah.
Right now.
Since we've already done that.
Yeah. Since
Yeah.
we're really just looking to get in the studio, and we're right now we're in the jam space writing new songs, and we take them as they come. We actually don't do a lot in by way of setting up our own, like going out and trying to find gigs. It's more like gigs kind of find us. Like
Yeah.
our friends and other bands will call and they they need a spot filled in, and it's kind of like where we're at right now.
Yeah.
We might have a show in 2 days that we haven't even found out about yet.
Right.
Yeah.
That happens a lot.
That does happen, yeah.
Last minute ones.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I know how that goes.
Yeah.
Which actually end up, sometimes they're really good, and they,
Yeah, you got to
end up
grab
being some
those
of our best
opportunities
shows.
because you never know. Sometimes they work out really
Um,
well.
Yeah.
Lately, we've been playing actually a lot at Mad Bob's on Lincoln Street in
Yeah,
Manchester. We've been getting a pretty good reception there. They keep asking us to come back. So,
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
we play a lot of Millies. It's you just got to kind of check out the Hippo.
Yeah,
Where
absolutely.
We don't really have too much time in between shows. We get them at last minute a lot.
Yeah.
We try to post, as soon as we know a show is coming up, we try to post it online.
Yeah,
so
actually
that's
the-
always the place to look.
Yeah,
to find out where we're
I
playing
don't think
next.
we actually go out looking for them either.
Right,
it's
right.
No, we don't.
We don't
Yeah.
promote ourselves very well.
I'll tell you what.
once we get a CD, we will. I mean, we're
Absolutely,
just kind of
yeah.
we haven't been really ready to take that step because if people ask us, like, oh well, do you have a good CD? Like
A demo.
We don't have anything that anyone could really like
You don't have the
play
standard
on.
press package
Right.
that everybody
Yeah.
wants.
Right.
Yeah, we don't really
Radio
have too much by way of a
quality
press
CD,
pack.
Yeah.
nice recording.
Well, it's
And
coming.
that's
You're
like
working toward that.
that's like this step
Couple
that we really have
months,
to. We've been putting it off. We just kind of been. I mean, as a band, we were kind of born with a silver spoon in our mouth because when we first started out, like we weren't even really ready to play shows, and we're good friends with the owner of the bomb shelter. He used to be on the west side,
Surge, yeah.
and
Yeah.
and they just kind of let us. We ended up becoming the house band there, and we'd play there. Started off every Thursday, and then it became like every Thursday,
Oh, yeah.
Friday, Saturday,
Yeah, you
Sunday.
guys were
we
there all the
basically
time.
lived
Yeah.
there.
Too much.
And so we always had a place to play
Definitely too much.
Yes.
outside
Way
of the
too
jam place. So I mean, we weren't even ready at first, but we just did it.
Yeah,
So I mean, we
yeah.
always some bands go a couple years before they even play a gig out.
Yeah.
They practice and then they just don't know the right people to talk to
Right, right.
to get a show. So I mean, they go to like you see in like movies. They practice and then they go to a battle of the bands and that's their first
Right.
gig. Like we. Way before we were even ready to do gigs, we were doing gigs.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, we were getting paid in beer and pizza.
I watch
Yeah.
videos. I watch videos now, and I'm like appalled. I'm like, I can't
Pizza.
believe we
Yeah.
got up on
We're
stage
okay
and
with
did that.
That's all right. Hey, you got out there. That's what matters. Well, listen. Thanks, guys, for being here with us tonight on
Thank
the
you,
Metal
Matt,
Classroom.
very much.
Very cool to
Thanks
have
for
you
having
here. I personally have known you guys a long time. I'm a huge fan, so this is really cool for me.
Awesome.
Just to have you guys come and do the show and get to
This is
actually
cool for us.
do an
Yes.
interview with you. So
It was fun.
Yeah, definitely really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, also if I'm going to talk about having a silver spoon in our mouths, we had Impact Player Music right from the bat.
Yeah.
Got us all our shows, and we'd like to thank you for that too,
oh,
man.
you're
man.
very welcome.
Thank you, man.
Glad to do it. Glad to do it. I
Years
love
of
you guys.
help, and it's greatly appreciated.
Oh,
We
yeah.
definitely
They got us a lot of exposure and a lot of friends, and I
Cool.
think that's gonna come
Helped
back to
us
us
under the
this
scene.
year. I think
Cool.
it's gonna be a really good year.
Good. Well, thank you guys. That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
And let's wrap up with what are we going to hear on our way out?
This one's his father's son.
All right,
It's a
his
little more of a
father's
metal
son
one.
from Phunksion on the Metal Classroom. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it, man.
RageRockRadio.com,
American Metal Radio.
the heaviest place on the internet.
hair in his head. The way he smiles is yours. His eyes refresh my soul. Burning house for anymore. I finally feel the hole. A time's not wasted. It's having for something. 'Cause we have done the best we could. But still you put me down. Say what you will, that's what's around. There's nothing I can say closer. But you want the world. You never stop me. The things you want your past to be. But that's just not your Here's your final say. It makes me smile, 'cause I realized it was worth my while. And even though I was a child, I've always done what's best for him. It all came from within, but deep beneath my skin, you cut me to the bone. I was much too young to give. You both are happy alone. We just weren't ready to turn into something. But I still did the best I could.
Trying to find that special instrument with great service? Indie Music Store in Milford, New Hampshire has what you need. 603-673-2733. New and used instruments, sheet music and books, student rentals, trade-in and consignment. Owned and operated by Jeff Harrington, a custom drum maker who specializes in drum sales, repairs, and restoration. Indie Music Store, located at 307 Elm Street in Milford, New Hampshire. 603-673-2733. Or visit them on the web at indiemusicstore.biz. Indie Music Store, independent store for independent musicians.
Looking to amp up an event or party? Call Loudkeeper Sound.
In New Hampshire.
603-289-1409.
Indoor-outdoor concerts, festivals, public address speaking, conference meetings, outings and
Parties and more.
603-289-1409
Or on MySpace at myspace.com/loudspeakeraudio.
top quality sound reinforcement for all your event needs. Drumlin Down Studios.
Located in the foothills of New Hampshire Seacoast, Drumlin Down Studios is a state-of-the-art recording studio for all your recording needs at prices you can afford. Call 603-580-5339 or visit Drumlin Down on the web at drumlindown.com. No project is too large or too small. Call 603-580-5339 for information.
Drumlin Down Studios.